Ooh, feed the ducks, feed the ducks, feed the ducks, feed the ducks, feed the ducks.
I don't think anybody knows what feed the ducks
Feed
is.
the ducks. Oh, no. They're used to this, right?
Yeah. I know.
What's up, everybody? And guess what, man? We have Gigi back in the house. Not only is it Friday,
I
but
know it's
Gigi
Friday.
Pierre is back in session.
In
She's back
town,
from Puerto
yes.
Rico. So
Whew.
we definitely got to talk about that trip, Gigi. But
Yeah.
welcome
Happy
back, Gigi.
Friday. Thank you.
Happy to see you back in town.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you so much. It was actually very refreshing. Like one whole week of no real estate. Really, I was like, oh my god, amazing. And I'm glad I discovered Puerto Rico, man. Really glad. What a beautiful island. Beautiful people.
Where
Actually,
did you
really. Where did we go?
what towns did you, if you can recall, what towns were you?
I can recall. So we got there on Friday, of course, took the car. We took a minivan because we were 6 of us from San Juan, drove up to Fajardo. Okay. The next day was Saturday, was pouring rain. We wanted to go to Piñones Beach. It was like torrential rain. It was a lot of flooding all over.
Wow.
Didn't happen. I don't remember what we did on Sunday. It was still raining like crap. We tried to go to a few places, had some dinners right around Fajardo where we were, which was a beautiful condo complex overseeing the sea. Beautiful. And then on Monday, we went to Culebra Island.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
Culebra's Island. I was about to ask you about some of those outside islands to see, but that's awesome. Culebra's is beautiful.
Beautiful. So you have several beaches. Of course, you have, Flamingo Beach, which is the most famous one with the tank and all that, the army tank. But they had other beaches that were like pretty amazing. The ride over there was interesting because it was we took the ferry, 45 minutes. A lot of people got seasick, not a pleasant thing. Coming back, we took the big ferry cargo that has all the cars and stuff in it. So that was like a smoother ride. That was kind of cool. After that, what did we do? We went to, we left. We drove on Tuesday. We went towards Isabella, and then we just hang out in Isabella. We went to a beach. Oh my God, I forgot the name of that beach. Not in Isabella. There was a great beach. Then we went to Aguadilla. Then we went to see a lighthouse, and now I forgot the name of the town. But it was Isabella was amazing too. I loved La Placita in the evening. They had stuff going on. You could have your ice cream, buy some little trinkets from the vendors, hear the word of God. I was like, this is so cool, man. Yeah. And now back to real estate. Yeah.
Now
I can't wait to go back. Like people were pretty amazing. We actually had some cheese tasting. I'm French, so we had to add wine and cheese. But Puerto Rican cheese, man, they had it. La vaca negra. That was vaca negra. Yeah. But I recommend. Awesome. It's like I'm going back soon. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And I'm glad we didn't do hotel. I'm glad, I was with my oldest daughter's in-laws. They're Puerto Rican, and just gave us like the whole feel of the island, of the people, of what to do, of what to see. Yeah. We couldn't do El Yunque. That's what we were supposed to do because it was super flooded.
Did you guys check out? There's a mofongo house. I don't know the name of it, but it actually sits on a cliff.
No.
You look over. Oh my God, it's such a beautiful experience, but it's pretty good.
No, I think we went also to a restaurant, had some fantastic mofongo. Also found out the vianda. Oh my God, those roots, vegetables too. Oof. And I don't eat meat, but this was like, oh my God, so lovely. Anyway, what to expect coming into the spring market? It was a feel good, needed 1 week. You come back refreshed. Like, let's get it. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. When are you leaving? Because Israel is in Dominican Republic for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
So
shout out to Israel.
We now traded Israel for Gigi. That was so funny. You come back, Israel goes on vacation.
I know. Good.
No.
Before we hit the spring market, we're gonna get super busy. We were busy the whole winter. Right.
That's true.
Yeah. So what are we
So,
talking about today?
ooh, something very interesting.
Oh,
Going into the spring market, what to expect. This is something that's pretty interesting. So we basically put together, and thanks Gigi for the slides. We definitely appreciate it. But Gigi basically put together a whole slideshow that we're gonna go over, kind of touching on the market. We're gonna be touching on some very interesting topics. So take
yeah,
out your notepads, please. Do chime into the chat boxes.
yeah, yeah.
We love to interact with you guys as we go along. All right.
Right. So we took our references from a lot of it from Keeping Current Matters, which is a
Mm-hmm.
great source of data for us real estate agents. All right. So thank you, Keeping Current Matter, for all this. And some of it I found on
100%.
different sources and so on and so forth. But we're going to give you a little bit of going into the spring market, what we need to discuss that's going to be important.
Mm-hmm.
First, let's go into it. You wanna slide to the next one?
I think you're the one that's sharing
Oh,
the
I'm
screen.
the one with sharing. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, let me just click on
It's
this.
all right.
Click on my screen so I know what I'm doing. All right. That first slide is actually a quote. Real estate is one of the time honored inflation hedges. It's a tangible asset, and those tend to hold their value when inflation reigns, unlike paper assets. More specifically, as prices rise, so do property values. And this is from Mark Russon, a financial writer for Investopedia.
Mm.
Let's translate that into layman English, into the English that I would understand.
For real.
Because me no speak English, me speak French, right?
So let's break this down, Gigi, because my question to you at that point
Yeah.
was, as far as inflation hedges, what do they mean by hedges exactly?
It's basically like in hedge, like those Hampton hedges are like, to me, when I see visually, those are like bushes that just hide from people peeking through other people's property as privacy or to limit, the view and stuff.
Visibility?
So, huh?
Limits visibility?
Yeah. Or, it's like keeps the privacy of property. So to hedge is basically a buffer, it's a prevention against in play
Mm.
inflation. So really owning real estate is basically it's been centuries, and ever since people are getting, especially when they're getting mortgages, um, the number one thing I think real estate does is as prevention against inflation, and that's what they were mentioning, is most of us get um, fixed rate mortgages, usually at 30 years, right?
Correct.
Those monthly payments are going to be the same for the next 30 years, right?
Correct.
If versus renting, where your monthly payments are going to be good for just the term of that lease, and then once you have to renew, they most likely will go up,
Oh,
right? And then
100%.
you have absolutely no tax advantages at all. We were
Yeah.
talking a little bit earlier about your experience being a homeowner now versus renting a few years back, right? You
Correct.
want to talk about that a little bit and how
Yeah.
this is a good example of what we're just discussing now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bought a co-op, right?
So I bought it, correct. I invested in a co-op. What I was looking for, and if you're ever looking to purchase a property and you want to buy a co-op, what I'd highly recommend is trying to find one that allows you to rent, and it allows you to rent indefinitely. Some of them might have time periods, which is fine. Stick it out. So that's what I did. I purchased it, and it's funny because it literally happened right before the pandemic happened. And at that point, in my opinion, was the best time to buy. Prices were going up. People felt that everything was going to go down. So now here
Right.
I am, purchased it. And in total, my mortgage is roughly about anywhere between 11 to 1200 mortgage and maintenance for a one bedroom apartment,
Which is
right?
not even the price of a studio right now,
Correct.
right?
So I looked at the market at the same time and I saw that they were renting apartments in the neighborhood for about $1,700.
Oof.
So at that moment in time,
Yeah.
that's what I looked at. If I bought a place, I'm locking in my quote unquote monthly payments, my rental payments, right? I'm locking it in for the next 30 years, right? I also have the ability, if I wanted to, I can add an additional payment to pay off the principal. That way I can start to reduce the end of
Right.
the life of my mortgage.
Yeah.
But now, as I look at the market, newly renovated apartments can easily be rented for 1850.
Right.
So
And yeah.
in 2 years, we went up $150.
And then your property value increased as well.
100%.
And then
What I
you're
noticed,
able
check
to
this out.
yeah.
Check this out. Check this out. So I saw the apartment, and whatever. I'm clear about it because this is the stories that people don't realize. This is how people tend to make more money or even save money. Is literally, I realized at that point. I said, if I bought something like that, only made sense. I purchased the apartment for about 135,000. Now, granted, it was going to be something that needed to be fully renovated, which,
Sure.
like I said, at that time, I said, I'll make the investment. I knew how much material cost. I had the labor work. Chances were I was going to put in most of the work. If not, I'd have somebody else come in to do stuff that I can't do. Right. Literally did that investment. I go ahead, renovate the apartment. And now, and not even now, I think it was like a year ago, I looked at it and newly renovated apartment was on the market for 215 and it sold over asking for 217.
Yeah. Yeah.
So with the investment that I put in,
You're
literally
still
fine.
broken. Yeah.
If it was another $20,000 on top of that, that's what 155.
Yeah. Yeah.
What 155 to 217 to potentially now maybe even 250.
Right.
And it's garden style apartments. And Gigi, you know, in Forest
Yeah.
Hills, garden style apartments are things that are in. People love garden style apartments, and those tend to be the ones that cost more money. So it's crazy to know where we're at with the prices. Right. And yeah, you're right. Inflation goes up, but look at that. My property value went up like crazy.
Right. So
there's so much equity
this
now.
is basically the security you get from purchasing. Correct. That's why we really like right now is really the time, as we're going to discuss further in rates, is really the time, the time to take in consideration when you're renting. And there are, and actually it's probably more difficult to rent an apartment because they want great credit. They want 700. They want to see money in the bank. They want to see this. They want to see that. They're going to check you out and everything versus getting a mortgage where you can still get a mortgage with a credit score below 700, right? And I have somebody from the post office who wants me to sign something. It's amazing.
Get him on the camera. Tell him the only way that you're going to sign it is if he gets on the camera and says hi.
I know.
Tell him we're live streaming. There's 1,000 followers that are watching right now.
Hi, I'm live streaming on Facebook. I need to sign something?
No, Sarah.
No, she's next door. Next to the tailor. Thank you so much.
We're over here. Everybody on this live stream was just eavesdropping. We were all just eavesdropping on the entire conversation. I didn't even say anything. I was like this.
I know. Anyway, so what was I saying? Yeah, so renting, like right now when you're renting, guys, any real estate agent out there, any of our friends on Facebook renting, please take this into consideration. Get qualified for a mortgage because now more than ever is the time to purchase.
100%.
All right. You're gonna, before those rates go up and your buying power is lessened, and we're gonna discuss that a little bit later. So even just that piece of information, take that in consideration. Take in consideration that your monthly payments will be fixed, that you're gonna have some tax advantages, and that you're going to gain value of your home. It is historically known that all the properties gain value, and that leads us to our next slide. Look at this. This is a slide that discusses homeownership, a hedge against inflation. So home price appreciation versus consumer price increase over the decades from the 70s to now. In blue, you have the inflation rate. Inflation rate is the normal increase, that you're getting according to how good your economy is. And over time in green is the home price appreciation. Most of the time, you're going to have the home price appreciation higher than the inflation rate. The only time it's been basically lower was in 2007, 2008. In that decade of the early 2000s, the home price appreciation was lower than the inflation, because at that time, if you remember, before this whole recession and the market crash, prices were so inflated as far as real estate.
Yeah.
Anybody that was breathing could get a mortgage. More banks, mortgage bankers were doing things that were not, I would
Yeah.
say, I wouldn't even say borderline illegal, but unethical, and just
I mean,
gave
it kind
loan
of was.
applications
If you
to,
think
yeah.
about it, it was they what they did was illegal, and they should have
Yeah.
gotten penalized for
Yeah. I mean,
that.
I'm glad
Um,
we have all that, those protections for the consumers
oh yeah,
with
one
all
hundred
those new
percent.
banking rules. I'm really
And
glad
even
for
after the
this.
pandemic, now they have more restrictions now,
Yeah.
which is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So as far as a
Yeah.
market crashing, that's not happening. And honestly, and we were talking about this last time, Gigi, where
Mm.
you could see it going up and down. And even in 1980s or the 2000s, yes, inflation was a little bit higher than the home appreciation, but wasn't this an accumulation? Wasn't this like on
Yeah.
top of, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So even though, in my opinion, even though it was low on those years, it was still high. Like if you had, and again, granted, you would have to hold the properties, but that's how we would leave legacies. And that's funny because we were talking about this last week, Gigi. We were
Yeah.
actually talking about real estate and whether or not it was a good investment. But imagine having properties, pulling equity out to buy more properties, and you're still holding on to these properties throughout the years.
Yeah. And we're going to mention that a little bit later on, talking about what
It's
is called
crazy.
tappable equity. I know.
Mhm.
It's so overall, owning real estate is the best investment. This is like solid. You get brick and mortar. You don't get papers, bonds and stuff. The stocks and bonds, bonds are like okay, but stocks could be very whatever. No English.
Volatile.
Volatile.
It's okay.
Uh, and then let's talk about the mortgages. We've
Ooh,
been
the current
talking about,
mortgage rates.
the rates are going to go up. It's horrible. Look at this. When this report came out 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks ago, this is numbers from 2 weeks ago. The rates were at 3.55 on an average. Now they're over 4, right? As of
Yes.
a couple of days ago. So this is already obsolete. But this is just to show you that since the 70s, the average rates all over those last 50 years have been about 8%, if you're really looking at it.
Correct.
So we're still sitting those are pretty low rates. Even if we're going to go into 5, historically, we're still experiencing low rates.
Yes.
All right. The
Well, now we're
80,
catching
yeah.
up to the 2010s, if you look at it.
Yeah, but
but
that was,
but it's still low. It's still
it,
low. And I'll use this as an example, Jesus, because again, like I'm helping my parents through the process of
mhm.
engaging with their property and whatnot. But in people in the 90s, they were getting mortgages and they were paying anywhere between 8 to 12% on an interest rate. You
Yeah,
know what
I
I mean?
paid
And
more
then
than 8.
now,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
yeah. So then a refinance. I checked out a bill, and they refinanced. There was a homeowner that refinanced, and they refinanced a 5
And they were
5.7%.
ecstatic. Yeah,
They
because
were they were of course they were
it was
so
more than
happy.
2 points. It was amazing. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then now to be at 4%, definitely like people should still take advantage of that.
Right. So we're taking this in consideration historically where rates were at. So 4%, it's not dramatic. Yet it's going to change. It's going to be it's going to be an increase in mortgage payment. Your buying power is going to be a little bit lessen
Mm,
versus a 3% rate. That's for sure.
yep.
But as it's going, we're still in the low rate stage. Let's go on. Let's consider buying something. Let's at least get qualified. As real estate agent, we need to educate the public and see here, this is what your options
Yeah,
are. You know,
that's true.
Definitely that. And I just wanted to show you guys and this, I actually use my little, what is it called? My Carl. I have a mortgage, Carl's
Carl's
mortgage.
mortgage calculator.
Right. And we're just using principal and interest based on the purchase of 750 in New York, right? So the 750 is like, it's average with a 20% down.
I can't believe that.
Huh?
I can't believe that.
I know, right?
That still blows my mind.
I know, but
But you're
that's
right.
what it is. 20% down, which means there are no PMI or anything like that. So this is like a good scenarios, but we have a lot of buyers that have 20% down over the years and
Yes,
purchasing, at 750 on a single family home, or
correct.
and it's not unusual. It's pretty much average. So at a
Yeah.
3% rate earlier this winter, their mortgage principal, the mortgage payments would have been 25, 29, and 62 cents. As of today, buying a property at 750 with 20% down, your mortgage payment will be about 28.64 and 49 cents. And now we're progressing throughout the year, and I think towards the end of the year, you're jumping into a $3,220 per month at 5%. So that's like a $700 difference
Yeah.
that would make in mortgage payments within that year. So that's going to be a huge difference. Like when getting qualified, you may not be able to purchase a house at 750 because your ratios, meaning your debt versus your income, that ratio would be too high to qualify for that amount. So you really have to be careful and see to up to what ratio you're going to be comfortable with mortgage payment.
Yep.
And so now is really the time, right? We're just at the inception of this mortgage increase. All right. I don't know. Do we have any comments from any other agents? No, everybody's still asleep in bed. Oh, come on.
It's
Come
Friday.
on, people.
It's Friday. You know how these
All right.
realtors are.
But this is also what is going to affect. So the prices are, I believe, they're still going to go up. They're still going to go up. Those rates are going to go up. And I think you agree with me, Ed, as well.
Yeah, I've been saying
Prices
it
are
for a while
still going
now.
to be
It's
on the way up, because as you could see on that slide, this is a map of the United States that shows seller traffic as of December 2021. All over the country, besides Alaska, the seller traffic is weak, meaning there aren't enough sellers to support the demand of the buyers. In Alaska, I would sort of understand because it's freezing cold and people want to get the
yes,
hell out of there. But overall, I mean, in what is that, Arkansas,
Arkansas,
Alabama, and
Alabama.
West Virginia, those markets are stable. In Vermont, there aren't enough properties at all. Like, it's basically like one property for sale in the whole state. So it's super weak. But it's like the prices are gonna hold. I've heard people saying, "Oh, it's gonna crash." No, it's not gonna crash. Look at
No.
that map. We don't
People are
have
starting to
enough
change
houses.
they're starting to change their opinions now. I'm starting to get more people say that, we've been looking for a year now, and we should have bought in that time,
And
because
we
right
should have
now it's like
presented a better
we
offer.
we
Yeah.
thought we thought the offers were the offer price, the listing prices were going to go down. We thought the market was going to go down, and it's not that way. And we said it before, it's simply supply and demand at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simple economics at this point.
Right.
Supply and demand. There
Right.
clearly is not enough properties on the market compared to the amount of buyers that are on the market. Like
Right.
it's crazy.
Right. It is crazy. And buyers out there, you guys need to not play it safe. When you're going to bring in offers, our advice, as agents,
Yeah.
is to all our buyers, is just bring in your best shot from the get-go. Like, if you really need to
Yeah.
buy, you're not going to get a discount. The deal is not, you're not going to get a deep discounted deal. You're going to get a house that will appreciate over time, and this is where you're going to get the deal, just because you're going to be able to get a house.
Yeah.
I think this is where
At
we're
this
at right
point,
now. Yeah.
I did, and honestly, I think because of what's happening right now, I think people should strongly, if you're looking to buy, I think you should strongly consider just hiring your own agent. At that point, when you hire somebody, they can actually go to work for you at that point. They can go out into the neighborhoods that you're looking in. They can go ahead and, I wouldn't say solicit, but you're now, you're a client to this realtor that can now go into these areas and try to see who can
Yeah.
potentially
Yeah.
put their homes on the market. So at
Right.
this point, it's all hands on deck. You know what I mean? Like, don't
Right.
play games. Don't try to lowball. Don't try to see if you're gonna negotiate. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm gonna go straight to this person and try to talk to them. No, at this point,
No.
you need more protection now than ever. But if you hire some like an agent to work with you, they're actually gonna go ahead and run numbers to see what makes sense. And if
Right.
the property is priced aggressively, they're gonna tell you straight up, listen, maybe you should come up to this number. Maybe you should offer this one, but they can't make recommendations to you unless you hire them.
Yeah. And more often than not lately, I mean, as a listing agent, we tend to aggressively price our properties. Number one, because we want to have a lot of traffic. We're
Correct.
working for the sellers. We want to get the best
Correct.
shot possible for them. Number two, what if things just change drastically? You know, you still need that little buffer where you're not putting yourself completely out of the market. This is something happened. Big
Hmm.
meteorite just falls on America and we're getting half destroyed. The demand won't be as much, you know, all of
It'll
a
be
sudden.
higher. It'll be higher because
I
there's
don't
less
even
houses
know.
available.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But still, you know, half people would be dead. I don't know. So we have you just need to to get your
You know
options. But
something
then
I
again,
don't know? Is there a meteor coming?
no, I watched a movie, I guess. I got but it's like you know, yes, we're gonna work in the best favor of the seller, but we want to also, you know, like bring in as many people. So yes, they might be in some instances some bidding war. They're still happening,
Yeah.
especially in some hot residential neighborhoods. And I'm not saying those are luxury neighborhoods. They're like
There's
middle
simple
income
neighborhoods.
neighborhoods, and they're
There's
good
simple
schools,
neighborhoods, simple
safe neighborhood.
homes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, I like we're seeing it now. It's crazy. And it's just and spring hasn't even started yet. I can't even begin to imagine what the spring and summer market's going to be, because at that point we're going to be dealing with the families that their kids now got out of school, like their kids finished school. Now let's see where we're going to relocate to. Let's see where we're going to try to get this home so that we can get our kids in that
yeah,
town before the next school year. So
yeah.
it's going to get crazy.
Do you
Don't play
think we're
games.
still gonna have the same exodus to Florida or the Carolinas or Texas? Do you think we're still gonna experience that?
I'm starting to hear that we're like, since, not to get into this whole political stuff that's happening, but at the end of the day, I'm starting to hear that the whole mask mandate, vaccine mandate, like things are starting to get lifted. If things get lifted, companies are going to start to call their employees back into the office. If they
Hmm.
call their employees back into the office, that's more business for the cities, right? Like Manhattan,
Yeah,
for example. If people start coming in, people start spending more money around the areas, the
yeah.
restaurants, whatever the case is.
Well,
So
I
that
know,
that
I know there is. We're feeling like a sense of coming back. I think the financial institutions are coming back,
yeah,
and you've seen the Manhattan market pick up drastically because it got
correct.
really hit bad.
Yeah.
While while the rest of the country was thriving, Manhattan market was like just took a deep dive, and it was something. Hi, good morning. You want to leave it there? Sorry, that's the again. Yeah, right here. It's fine. Thank you. Yes, please do. Yeah, she wanted to use the bathroom. Here you go, America. The main lady needed to use the bathroom. I guess I don't want to go downstairs in our basement because the ceiling is so low, and here the light is great. And at my age, I need every advantages possible. Yes, I'm not ready to do any Botox or any nonsense like that. Anyway,
No.
yes, so that leads us to
Active
active
listings down
listings.
dramatically.
Right. So this is over the last 5 years. Those were the great years pre-pandemic. Those
Yeah.
were the absolutely amazing years of 2000, even 2015, 16,
Do you think
17, 18. Yeah, 19 was amazing years.
random idea just ran through my head? I don't mean to cut you off,
No,
but
go ahead.
um from 2019 to 2020, that like the end of 2019 we were booming, 2020 we
Hmm.
got hit with the pandemic. Do you think the reason why there's less houses on the market is because people actually pulled equity out, home equity loans, or renovated their homes to now set up their homes to this new lifestyle that they
Right. To
have to live?
adapt. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and now they're just holding on to it. So there's a
Right.
lot of family. You think that maybe played the role
So
in this?
in those years, if you remember 2018, inventory was low. 2017, inventory was low. 2019, inventory that was low. So it was a natural progression. And then when people had to hunker down, they're like, let's utilize our homes and keep whatever. If you have a house, it's like, oh my God, we're able to go in the backyard. We can do things. In an
Mhm.
apartment, it's like people wanted to flee, to fled. I mean, for me, 2-bedroom apartment was fine by myself. But imagine a whole family of 5 people in a 2-bedroom apartment. That must have been hell. So yes, I think people really starting enjoying their home better. Like renovating, making it more comfortable, taking
Yeah.
some equity out of the house to
Mm.
refinance and do some repair. But right now we're at a very, very dangerously low inventory mark. We need more houses. Definitely need.
What do you think? Like when you say dangerously low and
Look
this
at
can
that. I
affect?
mean,
So when you say it could affect us, how, like, in what's to what scale can this, like, if we went down to zero, to what scale
we're not going to go
can,
down to zero because
I know,
things,
I'm just saying, I know that's a little dramatic, but
yeah.
it does say dramatically down, you know?
Again, I don't have a crystal ball, but I think, look, prices are
Your
still going to go
opinion.
up. This year, we're still going to have a great year as real estate
I think
agents.
so.
Buyers are going to get the qualification, and I'm not seeing that we're not going to get an 18% increase in property value all around the country as we've seen in the
Hmm.
previous slide. We might see like an increase slightly lower, but still significant because of lack of properties out there for buyers to buy,
Yeah.
right? What's going to happen after that? I don't know. I don't know. Are the Feds going to hold the rates lower? I don't know
But
what the
but
10-year
even if they,
treasury is going to do.
if they, but check it, if they lowered the rates, like, this is just kind of, this is us bouncing ideas off the top of our heads. In my opinion, if they lower the rates, that would just cause an increase of buyers to hit the market. Yes or no?
Yes, yes.
So that's
It's still going to be
still,
the same problem.
yeah, that
Yeah.
still doesn't, you know what I mean? In if we lose more inventory, it kind of just increases the market value.
So now we need to find sellers and just give options to sellers on what makes sense, according to their situation, and see if we could shift, some properties around. Like those sellers going to sell, they're going to become buyers. They're going to say,
Correct.
oh, I'm going to sell high and I'm still going to buy high. Does it make sense? Yes, depending on
Where
what
you
you
buy.
need and where you buy. Yeah. So
Yeah. You
that's
can't
where,
expect to sell, yeah, you can't expect to sell your $1 million house to try to get a bigger house for less money. Like, that's not going to make
it's
sense
not going to happen.
if you're
Yeah.
staying in New York. Now, if
Right.
you like the smartest thing I would say right now is, and like, again, people are retiring, people are getting to that phase. If you're getting to the point where you're retiring, you no longer have to stay here in the city. Find a place that's more comfortable for you. Chances are, for example, if you're heading a little further south, prices are going to be a little less. There's the markets are still
Right.
booming, but again, you can now pull out. Like, if you're here in New York, you can now sell your property, pull out top dollar, and you could potentially buy two houses
Yeah,
in
but
another
then
place.
again, like for me, I don't see myself moving out of New York. My
That's
my
be-
my
that's
children are
because you're not
grown.
retired. Look, 250 years, you probably got another 250 to go. So you're not
No, but
retiring.
again,
I
you've seen
can't
a
see
lot
you
of
retiring, Gigi. You're
and
like
you
Emily
see,
Coop. You're gonna be like
but you
Emily
see
Coop is
Emily
still
Co.
holding it down. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and
I
some
don't see her
people in their
retiring.
mid 70s are still very active, don't feel like they
Yeah,
need to retire, don't feel that they need to have that lifestyle change because thank God to modern medicine and knowledge, we're healthier, we're more active, we have better knowledge on how to take care of ourselves. Therefore, yeah, I guess it's not that great for economy because we live too long. It's not enough turnover of humans, but that's what it is. So we need to figure out ways to actually move properties around and find sellers that are willing to sell so we can find those properties for families and so on and so forth,
it's a
which,
conversation that has
yeah.
to take place. But real quick, shout out to Olivia for
Yes, hi
commenting. She put a
Olivia.
bunch of
Yeah,
smiley faces going sideways. So I don't know what
yeah,
she was laughing at, but we did
she's
say some funny
laughing
things.
at
She,
with us.
with us, not at us.
Yes,
Ah, good one,
yeah.
Gigi.
So we're
Cumulative,
talking
what is this?
about
Cumulative house appreciation by 2060, by
cumulative,
2026.
yes. So I wanted to share that slide because we're talking about price increases and people saying, no, it's not going to
That's 4
appreciate that
years from
much.
now.
So this is a very simplified slide. Thank you, Keeping Current Matter, and this is from a home price expectation survey where they used all those economists from in the green, the most optimistic ones, to the average of all the panelists that were surveyed, to the most pessimistic surveyed people, I mean, analysts in orange. So those were people that were seeing the things in the darkest light, and in green in the brightest light. So the most optimistic surveyed people, I mean, analysts were thinking that from to as of the fourth quarter of 2021, December, houses will appreciate by 2026 on an average of 62.5%. That's a huge increase. You know, the most pessimistic people thought also that there still would be an average of 23.7% increase in the next 4 years. That's still huge. Even
For
those
sure.
are seeing things in the darkest light. So overall, we'll see over 40% increase. That's what all the economists believe by 2026. So buying a house is definitely, even when you think you're buying at a high price, is still not that high. Things are still going to go up.
Yeah. There
Uh,
simply is not enough. And again, there simply is not enough homes on the market to
Help
compensate
us
for the amount of
sell your house.
buyers.
List with me.
Don't
That's
forget
good.
about me too.
Please.
Don't forget about me too.
I'm gonna have to throw out a line from Les Miserables, please. Cosette, whatever. Anyway,
Please use me
I
as your
know.
listing agent. This slide right here, I actually
Oh
shared it
yeah,
from
you
CoreLogic, Keeping
own that
Current
slide,
Matters
yes.
also. So nah, I don't own it, but I got it from Keeping Current Matters. I actually follow them on Instagram as well. There's a ton of
Yeah,
information that comes out. I
amazing
love putting it out
information.
there
Yeah,
because it's simple, right? 50, and I mentioned this the other day, $56,700 is what the average homeowner in the United States gained in the past in equity over the past
1 year,
year. That's
1 year.
1 year. And I said it, you can take that money and you can find a plot of land, probably a 30 by 100 over in Florida, and you can definitely buy it. It's
Do they
not
have 30
finished.
by 100 in Florida? They have more than that. At least like
They
40 or 50.
they
Yeah,
have
it's
a
like
lot.
half an
I'm just
acre.
saying, it's like you could get a simple lot. Like some of these houses, 30, 40 by 100, that's what the lot is. 50 by 100. Like
Yeah,
trees
yeah.
are still there and everything. You got to take it
Wow.
down. But look, 56, you can look, you can take that 56,000, buy the plot of land. I don't know how much it's going to cost to demo the place, but they got these little buildable homes now on Amazon that you could just
Modular
buy
homes,
for
yes.
40, $50,000. So imagine the plot of land 50, the building was 50, that's 100K. You demo that place, even if it was another 100K, you're in 200K on this property.
And
And
goes
now
Ed, Wanderlust, living in the wild of the grid.
that's it, off the grid. I'll keep the trees up and just a little in the
Yeah.
center. I'll just open it up so a little bit of light comes in, and that's it.
Yeah, I know. And you just pedal at night, like in your little bag that generates
That's it.
electricity just for the day.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna climb the
fantastic. No,
trees.
but
I'm gonna climb the trees and put solar panels on top of the trees.
this is amazing increase if you think about it. In 1 year, over $56,000. That's a lot
I'm
of
ecstatic about that increase
gaining
because
assets. Yeah.
I'm ecstatic because we've already owned our apartment, I think going into 3 years now. So I'm like, ooh, I should just sell in cash out. No, I'm not doing that.
No, keep it. Keep it.
Of
You never know.
course.
As an investment
I want to
property, it's
rent
going to
this
be
out and go
amazing.
somewhere else. That's it.
You're moving out of New York.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe.
he's like you see, he's like, I don't know about
Maybe.
that. Yeah, I know.
Maybe. I was born here. I saw what it became. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
know. All
Only
right.
time will tell, folks.
So, and when you actually, when we were talking about getting ready for this broadcast today, you were talking about that 56,700, and that reminded me. I said, you know what? Americans have a lot of home equities, especially those with mortgages. We're not even talking about people that have paid their mortgage. So homeowners, and this is from Black Knight, which is a mortgage data and analytics firm, and I got this quote from MSNBC blog. Homeowners with mortgages have tappable home equity of an average of $178,000. That's enormous. That's
That
enormous.
is
Oh,
huge.
yes. Yeah.
That is huge.
$178,000 average in
You could
equity. Oh my God.
you could again buy a plot of land, use some of the money to demo down the trees, and then you build a look at that. It's all right there. And boom, you have another property that you can Airbnb and probably make freaking two
I
hundred
know.
dollars a night from that thing
Yeah.
with a
Pay off
10%
everything.
vacancy
Yeah.
rate. Like it's crazy. It's
I
crazy
know.
where real estate can take you. And that's again, which it just hits it right on the head. It's real estate is huge, man. If you can invest in it, do it. If you could do it right now, do it. If you
Right.
can't do it right now, set up a plan. Like Gigi said, go get yourself pre-qualified, pre-approved, see what the banks are going to need from you in order to get you approved, see what your capability is. You never know.
Right. Right. So everybody's sitting on all that equity, and I know it's already like 11:41. That leads me to the last slide, and this is a conversation to have because everybody was talking about all those mortgages in forbearance,
Yeah.
and
Everybody's talking about off-market properties, or do you know any properties in distress? And
look at that. You have only 151,000
compared to
properties.
what it was when the housing market crashed, which was 2008, 2009, 2010, right?
Right. And even prior at the end of 2019, going into the pandemic, we had close to 500,000 properties that had foreclosure filing. It doesn't mean they were foreclosed upon. Foreclosure filing, meaning the bank started, doing the court proceedings and say, okay,
Yeah.
here, we're going to go into foreclosure on this. And depending on the states you're in, it would take years. So
Mm-hmm.
right now, we have only 151,000 properties that have had foreclosure filings. It's really nothing. And even if those people are still could not get out of the forbearance programs that we had earlier
Yeah.
during the pandemic, even if that, don't you think that a lot of those 151,000 people have, and I read all the studies, all those 151,000 properties that just had the filing have at least 10% equity in their home. And all those people that had the filings during the pandemic at the end of the year, all those, nobody's foreclosed upon, the courts are still closed. And most of them, and we just seen the number, a lot of people with mortgages have an average of $178,000 in there of equity in their
Yeah.
home. Don't you think that all those homes, even in trouble, don't you think that those home sellers can actually put their house on the market at market value and still get something out of it and be able to turn around and reinvest, or with the help of a family member, because obviously their credit is shot? But it's
Yeah.
not dire. You're not going to see foreclosures galore like you saw in 2009 and 2010. It's not
Yeah.
happening. Definitely not. That's what I think.
Yeah. I agree with you
You know?
100%. The
And I think the
market.
conversation to be had, and especially in New York State, would be to speak to the people that have had those foreclosure filings 2018, 19, and see if you can help them. If they were able to get it, some of them went into the forbearance program, which means, like all those payments that were missed were put back at the
Yeah.
end of the loan, and they still do. And depending on what they worked out with their bank, a little more or less interest, but whatever
Mhm.
happened. So most of people were able to do those, but those that are still under have the opportunity to sell at market value, which
Yeah.
means they're going to be able to sell high. They won't have to go into short sale. And I don't want to shut down those short sale specialists. I'm sure some of them will happen, but not a lot. Not a lot. This is it. Mic drop. Boom.
Oh, done.
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 That's it. What do you think? I mean, I'd like
So
to
what
hear
did we learn
from
here? What did we learn here today? Very simple. Can I give my thoughts on this?
your two
My
cents.
thought,
Go for it.
my 2 cents are stop looking for a good deal.
Stop looking for a
Stop,
good deal. Don't
stop,
enough property. Yes.
stop looking for the perfect home. All right.
Make
Stop
it your
looking.
perfect home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just this is something that you need to go out there and realize that, look, if, and I mentioned this to the buyer the other day, look, if you're looking for this specific area, you have to realize that in some of these areas, a lot of these houses are similar to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, don't go out there looking for the perfect place. Look for the place you want to be at. Look for the type of home that you want to have. The
That
rest you can
checks
make it your
out your
liking.
needs. Yes, I think
Yeah.
in this market the wants have to go a little bit on the back burner because you can make
Hmm.
your wants possible later on down the line. But I think as a buyer, you should just make sure all the boxes for your needs, your major needs, are checked in
Yeah.
and just go for it. The wants can
100%.
come in later. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
for
what
us real estate agent, we're gonna have to go and talk to homeowners. Conversation have to happen. You can't just wait on social media to do the work for you. You
correct.
have to get in the trenches and talk to homeowners and get those listings.
Yeah.
Don't twist their arms. Don't don't go into false stories and stuff like that. But with all that data, we should be able to open up a little bit of that slice of the market and see if some homeowners are willing to sell. We have to. We have to. So
Yeah.
with all that, we're going to be able to actually put those slides into our Alliance Movement Facebook page and in Workplace so you guys can use it. We really wanted to make sure you understand all those slides that actually Keeping Current Matter has every month, and we discuss that every month. We give an interpretation of already those reports that we have, but use those slides to your advantage. Have conversations with the homeowners, have conversations with the consumer.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
And be
That's all I yeah.
and be transparent, be true, be real. They're always going to ask you how's the market. I mean, as you could tell, it's hot. You know what I mean? So we have
Yeah,
to be realistic when we're submitting
yeah,
offers. We
yeah.
have to be fast. We have to be prepared. So get them
Right,
prepared. Talk to
right.
them. Be clear with them on what the process is.
Which
You're
brings us to I think next week's segment. We're gonna have Ted, the agents, actually speaking to the consumers.
Damn, G, you be bringing it on hot. I gotta talk to Ted first to see if he can make it.
He
I
will
know
make it.
he's a
He will
busy
make it.
agent.
He's a busy agent. He's actually working on his look.
No, he's going through a phase right now. He just wants to make sure that
No, Ted is gonna get in the
his
street
hair's on
next week.
point. He was just last time he got caught off guard. He didn't know what was going on. He showed up late. I mean, he's all over the place. But
So Ted is
he wants to
coming
be.
back, but he's gonna do a survey. I think we're gonna go in the street next week
Oh man,
and do a survey and ask the consumer. And Ted's gonna have conversations with consumer. That's gonna be a nice segue into what we just discussed this week. You're on, man. You're on.
okay, we gotta talk to Ted.
Yeah. All right. On this note, thank you guys for viewing.
Yes,
Please, we're gonna make sure that you guys can utilize those slides. I hope it was helpful for our viewers and helpful for our associates out there. We're trying to share a little bit of our knowledge and make the wheels turn and the needle move forward.
make
All
the
right.
hamsters spin the wheel in the brain upstairs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
use the information, guys. That's what
Yeah.
it's there for. Be smart.
Yeah.
And as always, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your attention. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate your likes, your thumbs ups, your views.
Your
So,
love,
guys,
your hearts. Yeah. Thank you so
have a
much.
good weekend.
And on this one, we're gonna do feeding the ducks again.
Are we gonna do feeding the ducks, or should
I
we
don't
just
know.
do it? Should we just do it Friday again?
It's Friday again. If they don't shut us down, it
They're not
is.
gonna shut us down.
Yeah, I know.
Happy Friday, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Friday.
Don't forget to stop by all the open houses.
Yeah. All right, guys. All right, say hi to Ted.
Yes, I'll let Ted know he's on next week.
All right. I think we're out.
Peace.